let's see, 2007-65S was passed by the council, which moved the implementation date to 2008 because it was not going to be possible to rank more than 3 voters or candidates before that time. And then 2007-68S undid that, and now we are with another language. If it is truly the purpose of the council to find a solution to implementing ranked choice voting in Pierce County, it seems to me that putting 3 ordinances before the voters is, to say the least, a confusing process to get there. Councilman Murray said that this was an amendment to the Constitution and should really be the voters' choice on where we go from here. But as Mr. Haughton just pointed out, the voters in the charter amendment that they passed last year gave the council the authorization and the authority to make adjustments as we're speaking here to implement instant runoff voting. And I have, as a voter in Pierce County, when these 3 issues come before me, I'm going to be standing in my living room, scratching my head going, what? Think you've made a drastic mistake today in the implementation of these 3 ordinances. However, it seems like it was a foregone conclusion before you started. So, appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Liz Kernitz, Thurlow, League of Women Voters of Tacoma, Pierce County. And yes, this is going to be much harder than any ranked choice vote, I think. And I almost didn't get up because we're going to be here all night. But since I got up to speak against the other 2, I thought I needed to get up to say that the language of this one is better, and that if we need the ordinance, this one does say it and does seem to allow for flexibility in using the system as it is. But as Rich Anderson Connolly pointed out, Section 2, which is to include language in the ballot title stipulating that failure to approve this amendment may result in the delay of implementation of ranked choice voting in 2010, seems to make no sense, have nothing to do with it. And if this language is here, then no, I am not standing here to support it. I'm standing here to speak against it. And I would request that this language be removed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? See no? Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am. Welcome.
Pat McCarthy, the Pierce County Auditor. I guess I would just support the last 2 comments in that, it's complex enough to have to vote on one issue related to a particular topic for voters to put 3 or 4 measures in front of them that are slightly different or have a slightly different nuance. Is going to be confusing at best. And even with all of the ballot statements and the voters pamphlet and all of that information, I think it's better to keep it simple. I think Mr. Farrell addressed, I think he got what we really were looking for, which was the up to 3, and we added the language that we felt that was necessary for the reporting piece. And so, I think that Mr. Lee and Mr. Farrell were trying to get to the same issues that I think we felt strongly about the Blue Ribbon Review Panel and the Pierce County Auditor's election staff. And I think it's a little bit unfortunate that we have so many that will be brought to the voters on this issue, because I think it's going to be confusing for them. And I think that's unfortunate because I think, in contrast to what Mr. Murray is inferring to, we want this system to be successful and sustainable. We have said that from the time that the voters voted to enact this. And and we did not bring going vote by mail. We will have that discussion as the months proceed. We would like to have that dialogue with you and the reasons why, but we did not bring that forward, and so at this time. So anyways, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one, I'll close public comment. Any additional comments or questions on this proposal? Ms. Long, item 2, section 2.
Yes, I believe that is language that was left over from before this was amended, and it probably is not appropriate and doesn't correspond with the language as amended. And so my suggestion to make that work with the language in Exhibit A is to strike everything in Section 2 after the words Exhibit A.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Farrell.
would so move the motion. Second.
Been moved and seconded to clarify the language of Section 2 as indicated by Ms. Long. Any questions or comments by members of the council? This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against the amendatory language, please step forward, and you've got 3 minutes to talk about the deletion of that sentence. Can't say that everybody didn't get a crack at this. All right, I'll close public comment. Any additional comments or questions on the oral amendment by Mr. Farrell? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion carries. To be legally precise, we now have an amended 2007-63. Anyone wish to speak again for 3 minutes on the final amended product, please step forward and state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes. Thank you. Close public comment. Any additional comments or questions by members of the council before we have a final vote? Mr. Meary.
Yes, I have one for Ms. Long or Mr. Cox.
Ms. Long.
There was a question about the closing of the polls. Has not an ordinance been submitted to us? Has not got a sponsor yet or a number yet from the auditor's office requesting to close the polls? Is that true or not?
I'm not certain of that. I don't believe anybody's sponsored. There's nothing in our system to date. Whether it has been submitted to our office, I'm not sure, but I can find that out for you.
I thought at today's study session we were told that we had one, but it has not had a sponsor yet.
I believe the auditor is saying that her office has submitted such an ordinance, but has not been.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make clarity on that. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll on the final adoption of this ordinance.
Okay. Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Councilmember Bunny.
Aye.
Councilmember Bush.
Aye.
Councilmember Farrell.
Aye.
Councilmember Gelman.
No.
Councilmember Goings.
Aye.
The ordinance passes as amended, 5-1.
Okay, let's see. We are now on, thank you, we are on to now page 7, I believe, item number 8. Mr. Bunny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for final approval proposal number 2007-64.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve proposed ordinance 2007-64. The clerk will now read the title into the record.
Proposal number 2007-64 is an ordinance of the Pierce County Council proposing amendments to the Pierce County Charter to clarify and establish filing requirements for minor party and independent candidates for partisan county ranked choice voting offices, requesting the auditor to submit these amendments to the voters at the November 2007 general election, and requesting the deputy prosecuting attorney to draft an appropriate ballot title.
Thank you very much. Ms. Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This proposal was forwarded to the council without recommendation by the Rules and Operations Committee on July 23rd. This is a proposal submitted by the auditor's office. This would propose amendments to section 4.15 and 4.20 of the charter to set forth filing requirements for minor party and independent candidates filing for offices which are subject to instant runoff voting. And there is an amendment on the celery to this proposal.
All right, we have amendment number 1 on celery. Mr. Bunny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move amendment number 1 on celery.
Second. Been moved and seconded to adopt amendment number 1 on celery. Ms. Long.
This amendment would replace references to ranked choice voting in the charter with instant runoff voting, or IRV. This is simply for consistency. This is the only proposal and the only place in the charter where the term ranked choice voting, or RCV, is used, and the Green Amendment would replace that with IRV in several places as indicated.
Okay.